What's up, everyone? It's Anna, also known as that Star Wars girl, and today I'm going to be reading an article titled Why Star Wars Episode 9's Title Really Doesn't Matter. This is on the site called Cinema Blend. The author is Mick Joist. I think that's how you pronounce it. Anyway, I've read a lot of articles on my channel, both in videos as well as in live streams, and the reoccurring factor I've noticed that every single article has in common is that the people that are writing these articles are not Star Wars fans. They do not care about Star Wars. Star Wars is not in their blood. They are not passionate about Star Wars or about Star Wars. They're passionate about pissing off Star Wars fans. That's about their only goal when they write these articles. Now, what I've noticed just in creating my own content, when I talk about other things that aren't Star Wars, I usually don't get as good of a response because Star Wars is my number one passion. I love Star Wars more than anything else in the world. Star Wars is a part of who I am. So when I talk about Star Wars, people tend to enjoy those videos more because there's more heart in those videos. Whereas when I talk about Marvel or DC or other movies out there, those usually don't get as good of a response because I don't care about those things the way that I care about Star Wars. And it's very apparent in the content that I create. It's very apparent if you make something that you are not 100% happy with, or you're not 100, you wouldn't stand behind this and say, I will defend this until I die. Chances are it's not going to be as successful if you cannot say that about your work. Now, this article, this guy proves right in the title. 1, he doesn't know anything about Star Wars. 2, he doesn't know anything about the process of making movies. What is the first thing you hear when learning about a movie? 99.9% of the time, it is the title of the movie. The title is one of the most important things when making a movie. If you are spending millions of dollars on a movie, you are going to make sure that people remember the name. Every single person in this world has a name. That is one of the most defining features of us as humans. And for this guy to say, oh, it's not important, that's like saying your name is important. You get to be human number 567021368. That's you. You're that human now because apparently to you, titles are not important. Now, I'm going to get more into this, but let's read this first paragraph of this article. As Star Wars Episode 9 looms in the distance, fan speculation regarding the feature has slowly been ramping up in intensity. Passionate folks pore over leaked toy designs, propose theories, and give random information they inherently know about the film with no sources. I'm fine with all of this and love to participate in it because it's part of the fun, save for recent activity in particular. It's time to stop worrying about Episode 9 official title. It doesn't really matter. Okay, basically what this guy said in the first paragraph of his article is that people are talking about Star Wars. He's going to talk about it too because it's fun, and he gets to have an article that will be trending because Star Wars is trending right now, because Star Wars will always be trending because George Lucas made something that changed the world. And then for him to say, this is the last sentence of this paragraph, it's time to start worrying about Episode 9's official title. It doesn't really matter. Let's go through every single Star Wars movie. Why don't we? We have the original trilogy. We have Star Wars. Originally, it was just called Star Wars. George Lucas later named it A New Hope. Star Wars A New Hope. I wonder what that's about. Oh yeah, it is about Luke Skywalker. The first Star Wars movie is the introduction to the Star Wars universe. You get to go to a galaxy far, far away. You meet Princess Leia, Darth Vader, C-3PO, R2-D2, and then you go to Tatooine. And then you meet Luke Skywalker. And Luke Skywalker goes on this adventure with Obi-Wan Kenobi. They meet Han Solo and Chewbacca, and they go and they destroy the Death Star, and they save the rebellion. Luke Skywalker is a new hope. He's bringing a new hope to the galaxy. That is what that movie is about. It is the introduction to Luke Skywalker's journey. Then you have The Empire Strikes Back. What is that title telling you? Guess what? We saw the first Star Wars. We saw Luke. We saw A New Hope. We saw everything he did. The title, The Empire Strikes Back. What do you think that means? Oh, I think the Empire is going to be, making some strikes back against the rebellion. That's exactly what that movie is about. It shows Darth Vader right off the bat, finds the rebel base, destroys it. The rebels are on the run. They're running from Darth Vader the entire movie, and Darth Vader is 10 steps ahead of them every time. They go to the Cloud City. Guess who's there waiting for them? Darth Vader. Luke goes to save his friends. Guess what? It was a trap set by Darth Vader. And Darth Vader confronts Luke, and Darth Vader wins. The Empire Strikes Back. Right there. That's a very important title. Every single title is important. Every component of a movie is important, and if it's not, it shouldn't be there. Then we have Return of the Jedi. What do you think that is about? Yes, that is about Luke Skywalker finally completing his journey, his hero's journey. He is a Jedi. At the end of the movie, he has completed his quest to becoming a Jedi Knight, and he saves his father from the dark side, and they bring peace back to the galaxy. That is Return of the Jedi. That is a very compelling title. You have hope going into that. It doesn't have hope in the title, but you hear that? Star Wars, Return of the Jedi. Something is happening. Something good is happening. You're going into that movie expecting to be amazed. That is what that title makes you feel. It resonates with you. You will remember it. So for saying that a title of a movie is not important, you are wrong. You can even go back and look at the prequels. The Phantom Menace, or I can't speak. The Phantom Menace. They did all the marketing with Darth Maul, so you think, oh my gosh, what is this movie about? It's Star Wars, it's coming back. There's this new alien, there's this new Sith Lord, this is gonna be so good. You watch it, and you are introduced to these characters. Yes, it's not the best Star Wars movie ever made, but it brings you into this universe. You meet Qui-Gon, you get to see Obi-Wan Kenobi face Darth Maul. You get to see a change in Obi-Wan Kenobi's character when he defeats Darth Maul. And you get introduced to the Emperor before he was the Emperor, back when he was just Darth Sidious and he was in hiding. And in my opinion, he is the Phantom Menace. He is the one that's hiding in the corner, terrorizing the galaxy and setting everything for his little plot to start in motion. Then you have Attack of the Clones. Star Wars Attack of the Clones. This one really isn't the best Star Wars movie. But when you hear about the Clone Wars in the very first Star Wars movie, it's important. That was something that was important. Luke, he propped up, he's like, you were with my father in the Clone Wars? Something was important about the Clone Wars. So when you hear Attack of the Clones, what do you think that instills in people? Oh my gosh, we're finally going to get to hear, we're going to see the Clone Wars. We're going to get to hear about it. We're going to see the beginnings of the Clone Wars, something that was important to Luke Skywalker. That Luke Skywalker's father fought in the Clone Wars, because that's what we heard of in the original trilogy. And so when you hear Star Wars Attack of the Clones, you're finally going to get to see a beginning to this war that we've heard so much about, or a little bit about, from the original trilogy. That's important. It intrigues you. It draws you in. Then you watch the movie. It's kind of different than that. But still, they get from point A to point B in that movie. Then you have Revenge of the Sith. In Revenge of the Sith, what do you think is going to happen? Guess what? Darth Sidious takes over. All those little plans that he had in motion are finally paying off. You hear Revenge of the Sith, that it's terrifying. What's going to happen? We had Return of the Jedi, and now we have Revenge of the Sith. What on earth is going to happen? We get to see Darth Vader become Darth Vader. We get to see Sidious get his revenge from the Jedi. He destroys the Jedi. The Force was out of balance. There was thousands and thousands of Jedi Knights, and then there was one Sith Lord, which was Darth Sidious, and he had apprentices that he kept killing off. And then he turns Anakin to the dark side. He gets his revenge. All the Jedi feel that pain that Darth Sidious, he played them. He tricked everyone. They thought that everything was fine. And then they get betrayed by Anakin because he gets, seduced by the dark side of the Force, by Darth Sidious. Revenge of the Sith, and at the end of the movie, you get to see the unveiling of Darth Vader. He is no longer Anakin, he is Darth Vader. That is important. That is Revenge of the Sith. So for you to sit there and write that a movie title for a Star Wars movie is not important, not only do you prove that you know nothing about Star Wars, you also know nothing about movies. A title is the first thing you hear when you are talking about a movie or reading about a movie. It is extremely important. We can even go into these new Star Wars movies. There is Star Wars, The Force Awakens. What do you think that's about? Oh, Luke's been gone. Leia's doing her thing. Han's gone. Guess what? There's no Jedi, because apparently Luke didn't train any, or they got destroyed by Kylo Ren. Now somebody is coming up, rising up from the Force, or with nothing, and coming up and going to be the new Jedi. The Force is awakening. It's a rip-off of New Hope, even though the title's different, but we got what we got. Then we have The Last Jedi. That is very self-explanatory, and as disappointing as it is, you can, in hindsight, I should have seen it coming in the title, but when I heard the trailer with Luke Skywalker saying it's time for the Jedi to end, knowing who Luke Skywalker is, never in a million years did I think I would be watching a movie about Jake Skywalker. I thought Luke had found a new way for the Jedi, that the old Jedi Order had to end, because look at what happened. It was so easily overthrown by one person, Darth Sidious, that Luke found a new way, a new path for the Jedi to take after all of his time in exile and training and studying. That's what I thought it was. That's why I was optimistic about it, but we were betrayed. And now we are going through and having to deal with people like this person that make these declarations about Star Wars that the title of Episode 9 doesn't matter. I'm sorry, but yes, it does. It is extremely important what the title of Episode 9 is, because that is what is going to define it as a movie. You can argue that the plot of it is going to define it, but when you talk about Star Wars, what is the first thing that you say? You say Star Wars, the title of these movies, Star Wars. When you say, hey, what's your favorite Star Wars movie? Me? The Empire Strikes Back. That's very important. The title is one of the most important parts of your movie, your story, your book, your play, your TV series. It is important. Just like your name is an important part of who you are, the title is one of the most important parts of the movie. I will leave the article in a link below so you guys can finish it. There's not a lot that you will learn. You can go ahead and laugh at this person's ignorance. He later on makes a declaration about how there's never been "the" in the title of a Star Wars movie, which, again, proves he doesn't know anything about Star Wars. He's probably never watched The Empire Strikes Back. That being said, everyone, I hope you enjoyed this video. I hope that you learned something about not making a fool of yourself on the internet. Cinema Blend, I hope that you are able to afford a better editor next time. Everyone, if you enjoyed this video, go ahead and hit subscribe if you haven't already, and hit the little bell next to it so you get notifications for my videos. And that being said, everyone, have a great rest of your day, and may the Force be with you, because we are going to need it.